Hey there, Sharon Horne-Ellstrom here. Welcome to day 137 of our Let's Grow annual challenge. Today we are talking about mental growth the entire month of May, as we focus in on an area or aspect of a life framework that I've used for decades now to help me to create the life that I want and to help other people to create the life that they want. I learned this framework from Tony Robbins and Jim Rohn back in the late 70s, early 1980s. And back then it involved physical, mental, emotional, spiritual, financial, relationships. So we're focusing on each of those areas for a month. And then, I forgot one, contribution, 7. And then in 2021, following the pandemic, I added, because I was getting some coaching in those areas, confidence and communication, because those are foundational skills that impact everything that we do. And they impact all the other areas and aspects of our life, as all the areas interact and impact all the areas. But this month we're focusing on mental growth, mental health, mental well-being, the mental and intellectual aspects of what makes us who we are. So today, mindfulness, which is one of my favorite things to work on, because I've spent a lot of my life, like so many people do, kind of running through my life or walking through my life, but not really being present and aware and mindful of what was going on and the experiences I was having. So a lot of things, a lot of beliefs, a lot of thoughts, a lot of experiences I had were happening to me by default. They were just happening because that's where my brain was going. They weren't happening on purpose. And I wanted to become more intentional in my life. So I started learning and studying and practicing mindfulness. What the heck's mindfulness? Mindfulness is being in the present moment, living your life right now and being there for it, not, dwelling on the past, worrying about the future, worrying about the problems that you've got right now, and ignoring your kids or ignoring the experience that you're having. It's about being there, being engaged, paying attention, and actually having the experiences that we're looking to have in our life. So today, of course, in Guide 2 of the Let's Grow Annual Challenge private Facebook group page, we've got Jordan's story. And Jordan talks about how he uses gratitude journals, breathing to reduce stress, and visualization, which are 3 incredible tools for helping us to be more mindful. I use all of them. My favorite technique or strategy for focusing in and being mindful and pulling myself into the present moment and paying attention to what's going on around me instead of being distracted is to focus on my breathing. There's all kinds of breathing techniques. I can't remember if we've talked about them or not, maybe when we're in physical, but we will, if we want to, ask. Otherwise, and I'll share a bunch because there's a bunch of them and you have to find the one that works out and works best for you. I like to breathe and say mantras as I'm walking, for example. It kind of combines all kinds of things, but keeps me focused in the present moment and the fact that I'm walking, which is one of the other strategies, mindful walking, mindful eating. How many of us just scarf down food? I'm so guilty of this, at least in the past, just scarfing down food or eating while we're doing something else or watching television and not really paying attention. And we eat way more than we would normally eat because our brain misses the signal that we were full 10 minutes ago, but we continued to shovel it in. The same is true with when we're exercising or walking. So often I used to exercise. I used to go to the health club before I got married, and a lot of it was not actually paying attention to what I was doing. It was just, paying attention to something else. So, every exercise piece of equipment nowadays, the more advanced, fancy ones in clubs and in hotels, have television screens on them, right? So how mindful are you being of what you're doing physically and helping your body if you're watching a television screen or a movie or a show or, God forbid, the news, instead of paying attention to your body, listening to your body, and exercising? That's how we get injured. That's how we get hurt. That's how I sprain my ankle, is when my mind's wandering and I'm at the park and I twist my ankle in a hole or a rock or something that I miss. We can do body scans of ourselves and find out what's going on in us. Louise Hay wrote a terrific book called You Can Heal Your Life. And she actually put a chart in there that says everything that you feel in your body, or aches or pains or malfunctions, is connected to something, usually emotional and mental. And so that's a great resource as well. So today, what are we going to do? We are going to tap into and pay attention to and be mindful by practicing one of these strategies. I actually have a hypnosis meditation affirmation app on my phone called Believe that I use every single day to keep me present, keep me mindful, keep me focusing on, and my brain thinking about the things I wanted to think about versus the thing I don't want to create and think about. We talked about the law of attraction a couple days ago, and what we think about comes about. Whether you believe it or not, it actually does. So if you're getting results in your life that you don't like, track that back. Well, what have I been thinking? What have I been predominantly thinking? Because that's why those results are showing up in our lives. I know, hard to admit, but it's absolutely positively true. If you don't believe me, just look for examples of it in your life. I guarantee that they are there. All right, that is our action item for today. Be mindful. Either practice visualization, focusing on what you want. Practice breathing. Like I said, breathing is my favorite because it brings me into, if I'm focusing on my breathing, if I'm doing like a breathing counting exercise, my brain can't be in 20 different directions if I'm actually paying attention to and focusing on my breathing. A lot of times when I just want to relax or calm down or change my state, I'll just take a few deep breaths, right? In with your nose, out with your mouth, whatever works for you. All right, that's it. Any questions, hit me up. Otherwise, have an awesome day and check out Jordan's story and guide too. See you tomorrow.